Social media platforms, of which I consider YouTube a part of, are the kings of disinformation and misinformation. The only difference is that they push their lies through staying as vague as possible and silent while simultaneously silencing those that they disagree with. Get the difference? It's not what they say, because they say very little, even when asked for reasons as to why they do what they do concerning their censorship. It's what they don't say. That's why I believe they have perfected the art of both disinformation and misinformation. Hey everybody, I'm Nick Kangadis for MRCTV. Thanks for joining me one more time for things that need to be said, depending on if you were even notified of this video's existence and depending on how long this particular one stays up. Hey, maybe if enough of us move over to Rumble, which you can also watch this video on, YouTube would change their ways. But don't hold your breath, because you probably wouldn't be around long enough for that to happen. Anywho, in case you missed the news yesterday, YouTube's latest victim in the information wars is yet another right-of-center elected official, Senator Rand Paul. Paul's YouTube channel was given its first strike on Tuesday, which means that Paul cannot upload any videos to the platform for 7 days. You see, Paul came out with a video the other day in which he told people to resist any mandates or restrictions that governments place on them because they're not rooted in science. If you ask me, all of these mandates and restrictions and edicts and guidance and suggestions and yes, executive orders are rooted in totalitarianism, authoritarianism, and, let's just say it, communism. You don't have to like that take, it's just how I feel, and I've been pretty accurate about this whole charade that we've been forced to trudge through. Now back to Paul. YouTube claims that they suspended Paul for claiming that masks are ineffective in fighting the coof, hence the strike against him. Paul claims, and he's an actual doctor by the way who has studied immunology, that he made the mask claim based on, quote, 2 peer-reviewed articles saying cloth masks don't work, unquote. What Paul doesn't realize is that it doesn't matter how many doctors come out and prove what he's saying is true. That doesn't matter to big tech and big government. Why? Because it doesn't come from the CDC, a government agency that has had its power exponentially increased by the Biden regime. Therefore, if it doesn't come from the government scientists like Dr. Anthony Fauci, it's considered bunk. In response, Paul tweeted that he's treating the suspension from the left-wing cretins at YouTube like a badge of honor. And he should. Back in March, I reported on a government-approved CDC report that clearly stated the difference between wearing a mask and not wearing a mask at the high end is less than 2%. That's not me, that's the CDC. And over a year ago, this dude revealed what the government would do in the next year, and no one listened.
The mask is about compliance, because they know Canadians like to do what they're told. So if they tell you you have to wear a mask, next they're going to tell you you have to contact trace. Then they're going to tell you you have to take the vaccine. And because Canadians like to do what they're told, they're hoping that everyone just complies. And then guess what, kids? Once you take your vaccine, like a dumb person that doesn't know any better, they're going to tell you, sorry, the vaccine isn't as effective as we thought it was going to be. So now you still got to wear your mask, still got to get contact trace, still have all the restrictions and social distancing, and still take your vaccine. And then what did you get out of all of this? You got a whole year where you weren't allowed to travel, your business was closed, they took your rights and freedoms, they forced a vaccine on you, and what happened? The same amount of people died, everything is the exact same, and now they're going to put you back on lockdown and bring it all the way till July of next year so they can do the same thing again. Bring you from July, August, and September, getting you off lockdown, but just to bring you back on lockdown again. If you idiots haven't figured it out yet, it's a perpetual cycle that you never get out of. And it's a way to take your rights, your freedoms, close your business, take your wealth. Why? So you become dependent on government. Why? If you're independent, the government works for you like it's supposed to. If you depend on the government to give you a paycheck to feed your family every month because they closed your business on you, now the government doesn't work for you, the government rules you. So instead of a middle class, we have the government, upper class, and the lower class dependents that rely on the government to survive. In other words, we have a slave class, and that's what they're trying to do. It's that simple.
Are you listening now? But this video isn't about the efficacy of masks. This is about the control that big tech, in partnership with big government, is exerting on all of us. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Steven Crowder, twice, American AF Clothing, Stefan Molyneux, Tommy Robinson, Mike Lindell, of course, President Trump, and to a much lesser degree, Twitter even suspended me. I think 6 times at this point. I don't know, I've kind of lost count.
9 times.
I have a small but loyal following on Facebook, but the Zuckerbots have gone so far as to limit my reach on there. I literally just had someone ask me when I post videos because they haven't seen me in a while. For those that know, I post a video every Wednesday like clockwork with very few exceptions. And when I warned people that this is going to get really bad when they first came for polarizing figure Alex Jones years ago, everybody crapped on it because Jones is perceived as a crackpot. Ironically by the media, who most people, regardless of political affiliation, don't trust. Well, how do you like me now? The point is that you don't have to agree with any of the people I mentioned earlier. This isn't about right versus left anymore. The establishment has already cemented that divide. They've moved on.
Oh, we're well past that.
No, this is about what the establishment allows the plebs to say. It's now us versus them, not left versus right. They've censored some left-wing people too. Everyone should be allowed to speak their piece. You know why? Because it's written into our laws as a God-given right. We are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. There's a reason that the word rights is capitalized alone with God and Creator, because the founders knew that our rights as people are just as important as anything else.
Hell yes.
And think about it, unalienable. Lefty Dictionary Merriam-Webster even defines unalienable as, quote, impossible to take away or give up, unquote. Then why are we so passive when big tech and big government do so? You know how we take big tech's power away? By using alternative social media like Rumble, like BitChute, like Minds, like Gab, and like Parler before the powers that be bastardized it because they knew Parler was going to be serious competition. Big tech is as much an arm of big government as the elitist media, woke sports leagues, and the Hollywood communistic cult already are.
No, it's true. It's true.
I'm on a decent portion of these alternative platforms, but unfortunately, because of what I do, for the time being, I have to maintain at least a small presence on the establishment big tech platforms. I don't like it any more than you do, but it's a necessary evil. For now. There are places where our voices can be heard, but first we need to make sure the big tech platforms hear us by leaving and affecting them where it hurts the most. Their wallets. Rant over. So, did I step in it this time? Is any of what I'm saying making sense? Were these things that needed to be said? Let me know in the comments, where I do read most and reply to some. And please, don't forget to check out our channel on Rumble and subscribe. If you like this video, don't forget to share, comment, and give it a thumbs up. Those are the best ways to help these videos reach more people, and it's the best way to let us know you want us to keep these videos coming. Subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so that YouTube might actually let you know when MRCTV comes out with a new video if they haven't censored it or taken it down yet. Like us on Facebook and check out more of our work at mrctv.org. For MRCTV, I'm Nick Kangadis.